You're not educated on genetics.
Would you actually discuss the genetics or no?
Well, no,
what
no.
are your genetics, sir?
So I'd stay away from the genetics and back to the brain scans.
You cut that out now, or you'll go home in an ambulance.
Yeah, that seems mildly inappropriate for a political discussion.
That was transgender reporter Zoe Tur threatening to hospitalise conservative pundit Ben Shapiro during a Dr. Drew debate, where Shapiro dared to utter the hate crime of arguing that wearing a dress didn't make Tur a biological female. After the taping, Tur continued the threatening tirade, telling Shapiro, "I'll see you in the parking lot." Tur then doubled down further, indirectly threatening to curb stomp Shapiro. He also retweeted someone who advocated punching Shapiro in the face. In a subsequent radio interview, Tur admitted that he had threatened Shapiro before going on an anti-Semitic rant in which he claimed that Judaism was a misogynistic cult which doesn't allow women to touch men. In a Twitter exchange with me, Tur then claimed that he was the one under attack. Look, Zoe, I don't care whether you have a penis or not. You behaved like a total dick. And I don't care how many Emmy Awards you've won. Your conduct was repugnant, authoritarian, and bullying. And no amount of self-ascribed victimhood status is going to change that fact.
You cut that out now, or you'll go home in an ambulance.
Why does the left get away with demonizing its political adversaries as hateful, intolerant, and violent when it's leftists themselves who are the most threatening, violent, intolerant, and censorious people in the field of public discourse? Aside, of course, from radical jihadists, the most violent and intolerant people on the planet, whom the left makes apologies for as they stone women to death and throw gays off buildings. Look, I'm not even that much of a public figure, but I get death threats from leftists every week. Feminists threatening to behead me. Muslims saying I, quote, will be killed for daring to draw attention to violent passages in the Quran. Fat pride activists threatening to bomb Pro-Teen World. Feminists threatening to bomb a Gamergate meetup. Feminists getting a man arrested and exposing him to a 6-month jail term simply for disagreeing with them on Twitter. Pro-abortionists assaulting pro-lifers. The list goes on and on. When Chuck Johnson said he was planning to politically take out, i.e. write a hit piece, on Black Lives Matter activist D-Ray McKeeson, he was instantly banned from Twitter and widely reviled by the leftist media. The Daily Kos even called him a scholastic terrorist. So how did the left react to Tur's direct threat of violence towards Shapiro? They celebrated it and attacked Shapiro himself after he filed a police report for assault. Raw Story lauded Shapiro's humiliation. Salon blamed Shapiro for provoking Tur and then labelled him a coward. Crooks and Liars called Shapiro a twerp and accused him of inciting Tur. Isn't it funny how leftists constantly berate those on the right for victim blaming, yet rush to victim blame when the victim's not a liberal? Imagine if this was the other way around. Imagine if Bill O'Reilly had physically grabbed and violently threatened Caitlyn Jenner. Do you think the left would have dismissed it as no big deal? And isn't it interesting that while constantly proclaiming herself to be a female, Zoe Tur suddenly discovered her natural, innate caveman?
You cut that out now, or you'll go home in an ambulance.
As Stephen Crowder writes, nothing screams, I am woman, quite like the utterly manly response of physically attacking someone who pissed you off. How very feminine. If there's one thing that leftists hate most, it's being called out on their rampant and unbridled hypocrisy. That's why, instead of swallowing their pride and acknowledging that Tur's behaviour was unacceptable, they've rallied round him and made Shapiro out to be the villain. All this illustrates is that the left does not believe in equality. They think that by ascribing themselves special victimhood status, that gives them a free pass to engage in hate, violence and intolerance, while lecturing us about how hateful, violent and intolerant we are simply for challenging their views. Well, this time it blew up in their face.
You cut that out now, or you'll go home in an ambulance.
Check out the other videos, subscribe to the channel. I'm Paul Joseph Watson for Infowars.com.